Ultra Excel Curve Professional. You got birds out of here, and then I got half the birds out of that white pin there here. Here's that rabbit. See, it just ran around the other side. It's looking for corn or layer pellet. Leave it! It runs, so she wants to play with it.
I would assume since it's got set screw holes, you can get just a regular pole to go in there and the screws will hold the pole still.
Well, you had set screw holes and a regular pole didn't work for you.
Yeah, well, you bore that out. So you broke that.
No, I fixed it. Now is the time to buy these things.
I agree. And they're, I mean, they look like they're in pretty good condition.
Yeah, now's the time because we're going to put them in about a month here. I have at least a dozen spots where we can put at least 12 more in right now. Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. I've been out here for a few hours. So for years I have saved feed bags. For, well, probably for a decade I saved feed bags. Had at least 1,000 of them probably more. Always fought with myself as to what to do with them, throw them away, save them, whatever. And I always thought, well, if something went wrong, if something happened, I would probably want these feed bags because we could put feed back in them. Or anything really, right? We could use them for anything. But a decade goes by and I didn't use them. We moved from one house to another, so we disposed of them. And now all the animals and everything are all consolidated on this property, whereas some used to be at the house, some were at the old shop. We had a small barnyard at the old shop, and we were still using feed bags. But decade of not using them, we just disposed of them. And I always throw these things in the trash, but I tell people all the time when they're like, what should I garden? What should I do to garden? I don't have room. Well, you do. I mean, you have a dog or a cat, use the containers for that. Do you have chickens? Use the bags for the feed. Use anything, right? So that's what I've done here, is I've just kind of put soil and some manure in these bags months ago, and they've sat here and I've done nothing with them. Nature always finds a way. That soil straight out of those bags. I believe that the Miracle-Gro soil that we got this year is full of weed seed. Who knows, maybe because it's not coming in from China as normal, maybe they had to make some on their own, but these beds have weeds all through them. Every single bed has this weed. And in all the years past, they never had. So it's only the stuff that we filled carts with new. And you can see there is quite the matting of weeds through here. So maybe not, but I think that's where it came from, or at least some of it. So I'm just filling these up, and I don't know what I'm even gonna put in them. Fall crop, garlic's coming probably. I'll probably put some potatoes in here, and then we can just put them in the hothouse when it cools off a little and see what they do through the winter. I always listen to audiobooks or podcasts or whatever. Right now I'm listening to an audiobook series called Mad Mick. Fantasy, fiction, prepper, porn. Fun nonetheless. Every now and then you listen to one of these and you pull something out of there that's worth it. Other than that, it's just entertainment. I've got random little saplings growing around the property that I've lagged on cutting off. I just topped the top of this one off, and it was full of wasps. I'm not sure where the wasp nest is, but there was a ton of them in here, red wasps. So I've got these little clippers, and I've got some bigger clippers, but I think I'm gonna try out this Ultra Excel Curve Professional Silky Saw. Impulse hardening, non-set teeth, Myra Me. I'm not sure what that means. There's another wasp. Plus the packaging's cool, black and red. Check this out. I thought this was a pear. I guess it is a pear tree. It's pretty nasty, misshapen, eaten out of the inside by ants. You can see them, there's ants in that one. Yep, pear, pretty tart. Let the sheep eat those leaves. That'll leave the sticks, which will definitely be in the way. I mean, I need a small chipper to run through. It's still pretty early to be cutting this tree, but I guess it's better than not cutting it. I always wait, and then they don't get cut, and then they're regrowing. So all these branches that cross each other, like this one, that'll rub this one, I want all those out of there. And all the old timers that you watch, all the videos you see, will say that you should be able to take a cat by the tail, throw it through there, then have it not grab any of the branches as it passes through. I don't know who was throwing cats to prune trees, but I've seen it several times. So also the weight when it comes under fruit, where is it going to hang, which way is it going to pull the tree? And then also the height. Do I want to mess with having to harvest off of higher branches? So a lot of times I'll just chop the top off of these things. Plus we've got these wires here that the power company freaks out about. Man, so often I do things and then stop and intend to go back to them, and then I don't get back to them for weeks. Here's the trees thinned out. Definitely couldn't throw a cat through there by the tail, but I could probably get a cat through there. I'm just after air, none of the branches rubbing, sunlight coming through. Takes care of a lot of fungus and parasite, wind coming through there. So you can see how much I took out of these. And this isn't, man, I keep seeing that saw up there. I've got a trash bag over it, and I keep thinking it's a big cat sitting there every time I look at it. I've got 2 bobcats upstairs, and I keep thinking that's a big cat. So not the best time of year. You want to prune when the leaves have fallen off, but I never do that. I always blow past that. So I'm at least pruning something right now. Like this one here, how these kind of cross. I think I'm going to take these 2 top off and let the fruit kind of be here. But then I also want to be able to mow around these. So you can see here, these ones aren't as big. This pear here was up into those wires last year when I cut it. So I'm going to top a lot of that growth so that it's down lower. This pear has done great, but it doesn't put much out for fruit. So like all of these coming up here that are rubbing, I'm going to cut all of that out of there and cut, probably top that there, and then cut the top pieces off there. When I planted it, I didn't realize really how big a pear would get. Ideally, that tree would be up here and then nowhere near those wires. But you can see this tree here has died, and then the trees that were over here are dead. 1, 2, there was a third, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I can probably put a couple more in there. So probably 8, we'll call that 8 trees. You can get dwarf, semi-dwarf, or full size and just, you know, keep topping it. That's 8. and then 9. I can put a 9th one here. This one doesn't get as much sun right here as you see. I'm gonna come through and thin all of these really good. And then we had trees out front here that just never did well. I really think I'm not going to put trees back out here. These ones were the first trees we ever planted on the property, and they just don't get enough sun, or something in these trees is keeping these from growing. It only gets kind of a sliver of sun like right now. And then once noon hits, this is in shade here, so I don't think I'm gonna do fruit trees out here. And then I've got more room in here. We can put more trees still. And then I've got all the back also where we can put trees. There's really no fruit trees in the back, but we're gonna plant that swale up, so I'll wait until I do anything back there. And then I've got a couple here out of these that I don't think have made it. Here's a pumpkin. Man, all that work and time on those pumpkins, and I've gotten like 4 pumpkins out of them, and most of them have already rotted out. But like I don't know if that tree there is gonna make a peach tree. And this one over here is an apple, and I don't think it made it. You never know though. You never know. And then I got a couple here that look pretty miserable too, but they sometimes they'll surprise you.